Okay, number 1 and 2, we're graphing the function, listing the transformations, and then telling the domain and range using interval notation. So, first things first, they gave us a table, so we're going to use the table to do our transformations. But let's list our transformations first. Okay, so once again, first transformation right here was the very first transformation we looked for. Reflection. Do we see a negative sign? One right there. So what does that tell you? Reflect over the x, because it's on the outside of the square root symbol. Okay, next, what do we look for? Right, horizontal or vertical stretch or shrink. This 2 tells us what? Vertical stretch by, you need to include the factor. Vertical stretch by 2, right. And then lastly, right here, we see the +1 on the inside. What does that tell us? Left 1, very good. Okay, so now we've listed the transformations. So now we have to graph it, and using the table to get our points is a good technique here. So let's get the parent function points. We start with 0, what? 0, 0, 0, 1, 4, and 9, 3. So now we need to apply the transformations to this table, to these table values. First, we have reflect over x. What would that do to our table values, reflect over x? Make the y's negative, right? Because with reflect over x, if you do it with your hand, you know your hand's flipping up and down. Up and down is y value, so reflect over x, make all the y's negative. So -0 is still 0, -1, -2, -3. Okay, next we have vertical stretch by 2. What does that do to your table values? Right, multiply all the y's by 2, because vertical is y, and it's a factor of 2. So 0 times 2 is 2, 0. -1 times 2 is -2. -2 times 2 is -4. And -3 times 2 is -6. And our last transformation here is to the left 1. What would that do to our table values? Subtract 1 from the x, right. Because left is horizontal movement, which is x values. So subtract the 1, so we got -1, 0, 3, and 8. And so then these are our points right here. We've got 1, or what is it? -1, 0.
Do we have to do the originals?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. You're only graphing the new one. So 0, -1, unless it asks for it, but this one doesn't ask for it, right? 0, -1, 3, -2, and 8, -3. 8, -6. Wow, that means I messed up all of them. Sorry. 0, -2. I'm not looking at the most outer ones. Gotta look at these ones. 0, -2. 3, -4. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -6. So like this. There we go. Alrighty. So now we got to do the domain and range. So what is the domain, the furthest left to the furthest right of this graph? Bracket. -1. Infinity, right. So bracket, because it's actually on the -1 right there. That's the furthest left point, and then infinity is going to the right forever. What about the range then? Remember, range is from bottom to top. So how far down does this graph go to how far up does the graph go? -infinity. And what sign should I have around there? Parentheses. To 0 bracket, right. Because the lowest is going down forever, so -infinity, and the highest point is 0. And put a bracket there because you're actually touching 0 right here. All right, so a lot of people will make a mistake on the range. A common mistake that I see is that people will put 0, -infinity, right? It's always lowest to highest. -infinity is, of course, going to be the lowest ever, so -infinity and then 0. And that is number 1.